Scrooge's reformation of character, his coming round to be Mr. Christmas as he is by the end of the novel. Okay, so you'll have that chance to discuss it, and then when I sort of close the breakout rooms again, you'll all come back into that room, and we'll discuss all the ideas. I'll be able to drop into each of the rooms to make sure that you're still on task, and drop into your conversation and hear what you're saying. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go back to a Teams page so that I can distribute you all now into the breakout room. Okay, boom, boom, boom. There we go. Apologies for my internet; it's really laggy this afternoon. Don't know if it's to do with it atmospherics or whatnot. Come on. Right, so just going to start the rooms now, and what will happen is you'll just leave this main page and you'll go into the rooms that I've assigned you to, okay? And then begin to talk about Scrooge visiting the Cratchits.
Oh.
Oh, we're back.
Oh,
Back.
I think
Magic. Yeah, as if by magic, I've pulled you out of those rooms. How cool is that?
So you scared me.
Did you think, what the heck's happening on? Time traveling. And we will begin to use these. I think these are really effective to use because it allows you a bit of peace and quiet to have discussions. Although sometimes, can I just point out a couple of things? Obviously, as you now know, I can drop into a room to overhear conversations. And sometimes people recognise that I've entered the room. Yeah. Sometimes people sort of recognise a bit quicker than others that have entered the room. But it's great to come into mid-conversation sometimes. But also the messages that you send to each other in chat do also still continually keep coming up. So things that are non-relevant, I can see. There was quite a bit of discussion of Xboxing and Minecrafting and other things going on at one point I saw. So, do be aware of these things. But otherwise, there was some good discussion going on. Now, this section of the novel here, quite a pivotal moment. Just get back to it. So I've got the shared screen. I think it's dropped off from that. We made it into our rooms. If I bring it back up. Boom, boom, whoop. So, let's begin to get some of your ideas put up here. Okay. So, Christian, do you want to give us one of the ideas that your group was beginning to discuss about why this section of the novel is important, and some of the themes and ideas that get explored through this section of the novel?
So our group talked about how Scrooge shows empathy for Tiny Tim.
Yeah, good. And why is that important?
Because it shows that Scrooge shows empathy.
Right, but what does that empathy show that Scrooge must have?
Emotion.
Yes, yeah. And it's not just emotion that he has, but Leon and Jess, can you remember what I said, that it maybe showed that it begins to sort of recognise within Scrooge?
The
When
Ghost
we
of
have a
Christmas.
bit of a discussion.
The Ghost of
Say
Christmas
that again,
Present.
yeah.
The Ghost of Christmas Present says, he quotes Scrooge saying, "Are there no workhouses or prisons?"
Yeah, we did say that bit, but remember when we were talking about Bob and his reaction to Scrooge, and we talked about a common kind of bond. What was that common bond we talked about?
Their friendship.
Well, it's friendship, and again, the word that began with H. When you care for your fellow human being, that is a sign of. No? Anyone? No? Oops.
Bob Cratchit's just a good person, morally.
He is, yeah. And that sense of common humanity. That they have with each other, it kind of calls out. And again, it's another reason why, I think we can say that he shows this empathy for Tiny Tim. He recognises that. He recognises the bond that connects. Remember the quote at the beginning from Jacob Marley? Oops. That mankind was my business. It really does get shown here, isn't it? This is what Scrooge is beginning to recognise here. That he should be caring about his fellow man rather than about making pounds, shilling, and pence. Okay, good. Thank you. Lottie, if I could come to your group, can you give us one of the ideas that you were talking about in your group?
We were saying that it shows the comparison between Scrooge and Bob Cratchit, saying that Scrooge has the money, but he's unhappy and alone, and Bob Cratchit doesn't really have that much money, but he has his family and like he's happy.
Yeah. Oops. Good point. Yeah. So yeah, it's that idea of happiness not being connected to, you know, your social standing, your wealth, your position in society, and for all the poverty. Yeah, the Cratchits appear to have so much more than Scrooge. Yeah, good. Darren and Tom, what did you come up with in your discussions? If one of you wants to act as spokesperson there. Okay, Tom, what do you think the importance was in this section of the novel?
That Scrooge like turns to like the good side.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Moving away from his dark side, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, Mom. What is going on here? Pumpkin. Oh no. Yeah, I'll need to write it by hand, I think, this bit now. Because the keyboard not working for some reason. Oops. Okay. And what do you think makes him begin to turn this way, Tom? What within that scene do you think is the kind of the catalyst for him to behave as a better person? What makes him want to change?
It shows what they have to go through and how poor they are.
Sorry, Tom first, and then I'll have the other voice that just popped up.
It shows what they have to go through and like how poor they are.
Oh, good point. Yeah, that idea about them being vulnerable like that. Yeah. And who else spoke up? They've gone quiet again, whoever it was. Oh, dear. Right. Ooh. Playing up now, this. What else does this scene show about Scrooge's transformation from sort of a misanthropic hater of humanity to somebody who wants to take part? What else is it that begins to really, what else really sort of stuns him? Whoops, in this section. Apologies, my device appears to be having a mind of its own now at the moment. What else really makes him change? What does he learn? What does the spirit say might happen later on if things don't change?
Tiny Tim's death.
Yeah, good. So it's back. So we've got the vision of the empty chair when he sort of looks to the future. And, you know, the fact that, again, this is, although it's Christmas present and he is sort of just beginning to sort of project a little bit into the future, why do you think that the spirit shows Scrooge that this might well happen in the future, but that it's not a certainty? What is the kind of hope, do you think, that the spirit has here when it says, well, you know, if things don't change, that chair will be empty in the future?
That Scrooge can help.
Yeah, that is it. Isn't it? It's that idea that Scrooge can, it's still, you know, there's still the hope for change, isn't there? Yeah, and what we're looking at here, it's all to do with sort of actions and consequences. It's this idea that he can still be a positive force in the future. Doesn't have to stick being this sort of negative force on everybody's life, and his not just his own, but you know, and others too. And it's that idea of giving him something to aspire to make him sort of a nobler person, a better person. We'll go over the text in a little bit more detail as well tomorrow. There are good ideas that you began to brought out. Apologies, I say, for my device and internet appear to have been sort of very laggy this afternoon. Didn't work as smoothly as I hoped it had done. But I say we'll continue with this, and we'll begin to look at how Dickens begins to sort of show this change taking place in Scrooge, and how he kind of signals to the reader that things are beginning to change for the better, and that sort of moral message that comes through. Before next week, we'll definitely be looking again at this idea that once we leave the Cratchit family, we go off in this sort of rapid tour of England on sort of Christmas Eve into Christmas Day, and it shows again, just like we mentioned at the beginning of this chapter, the sort of positivity followed by negativity. We're going to have a little bit of that again, because just as we see Scrooge beginning to transform, he again is showing some visions of the wider society that he is a part of. Okay, so that brings us to the end of today's lesson, and it's at the end of the day for you today. So off you go and get some downtime from devices, and I'll see you all tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shut that down.